Once upon a time, not so very long ago, this society, at least a certain segment of the society, valued intelligence. Being intelligent was something to aspire to, something to want, something to hope for, something to hope your children would aspire to. 2013? I don't see it. Certain types of intelligence, if it's all channeled in a certain, to accomplish a certain thing, oh, well, if you're intelligent enough because you can create computers and program computers and blah, blah, blah. Okay, that's okay, but only within that narrow realm. Only from 9 to 5. And when you get out of work at 5 o'clock, you better try to be as stupid as everybody else. Try to get as drunk as everybody else and just show that you're a regular guy and you're no brainiac and all this stuff. I don't like it. I don't like living in a society where stupidity is held up as the high ideal. But that's what I see. The other thing that I see, that I just over the last 40 years, how the whole moral attitudes completely shift and get reversed. They can turn it around any way they want. And whatever they tell you, whatever the television news and the magazines and newspapers tell you is morally correct. Not just politically correct, but morally correct. To believe this and that, suddenly everybody is, oh yes, we believe in that so much. And they could turn it around tomorrow. And of course they don't usually make shifts that sudden. They gradually but steadily turn things around until 20 years later you see the whole thing's been reversed. You say, well, when did this happen? Well, it was happening all the time. It was this gradual shifting, this gradual movement all the time. 1 degree at a time. And you think, oh, well, I won't notice so much because it's just only 1 degree. It's just a little bit of a different angle. But if you go to sleep for a week and wake up 20 years later, you find the whole thing has been reversed. Before 2004, before the year 2004, when, of course, 1 year after the American invasion of Iraq, what should have been the elephant in the middle of the room, what should have been the most obvious issue was the war. No, the Democrats. No, we don't mind any war. We don't see any war. We don't have any problem. Support our troops. Ah! Suddenly in 2004, the big issue for the Democratic Party was same-sex marriages. Men should be able to marry men, and women should be able to marry women. Suddenly this becomes the big moral issue that all right-thinking people have to agree with. Before 2004, you tell me yourself, if you're older than 15, if you're older than 20 years old, or certainly older than 30 years old, before 2004, had the issue of same-sex marriage ever even entered your fucking mind? Seriously. Had you ever even thought of the notion that men should have the legal right to marry men, that women should have the legal right to marry women? Had that ever even crossed your fucking mind? Had it ever been brought up as a subject of discussion before 2004? Unless you're a homosexual yourself, or intimately related, closely related, or intimately close friends or associates with homosexuals, I will bet you that topic never came up in your whole life, except perhaps as a joke on Laugh-In, News of the Future, 1968. News of the Future, 1988. Homosexuals want to marry each other. Only as a joke of that sort would same-sex marriage ever have come up as a topic of conversation, unless, like I said, you happen to be homosexual or associate with homosexuals. But suddenly, 2004, it's the big issue because, of course, we can't focus on the elephant in the middle of the room. We can't focus on Iraq and the whole 9/11 bullshit. No, we have to focus on men should be able to marry men. That's the big issue for John Kerry and the Democrats. John, both sides of every issue, Kerry, who is now our Secretary of State. So that's how it happens, and that's just one example. Every night, the news and the magazines, the newspapers, and the internet tells you what you're supposed to believe in morally, and hundreds of millions of people just swallow it whole. They're spoon-fed whatever their morals, and whatever they're told is supposed to be righteous, and are righteously indignant about anybody who doesn't believe in same-sex marriages is a horrible, rotten person. But before 2004, 2003, or any time before 2003, the issue would have never crossed their minds. And now it's the big moral goalpost or guide, whatever, the moral thing, the moral standard. Is, oh, if you're opposed to same-sex marriages, you're a bad, evil, weird person, and I hate you. And that's just one example. La-di-da! That's my new sign-off, my new catchphrase is la-di-da! How's that for a catchphrase? You know, some people just say, okay, bye. My catchphrase is la-di-da! I'm sure it's going to catch on. Oh, that's going to be a good one. La-di-da!